This is H.D. Ingles again. Uh, I'm going to talk about something today, which I've written some amount of it on my blogs, but I looked at some of the stuff I wrote and I decided to zoom it, so to speak, as it were. Okay, over time, you can expect changes. That just happens. I mean, an excellent example is dramatic changes. I'll give you one. When my father was 9 years old, the Wright Brothers made their first flight. Before my father died, he flew in a Boeing 707. Big difference, big change. But there are some things that shouldn't change. And being civil is one of them. And that's what I'm going to talk about today, civil discourse. Now let's go back a few years. I like to go back a few years. The 1950s were my teenage years. Let's talk about during those years, our Congress. In Congress, the minority party was referred to as the loyal opposition. That's a respectful way to refer to them. Now, that was also what it meant was they were loyal and they did oppose each other. In other words, they had different opinions, but they didn't hate each other. They merely disagreed. A couple of senators could have at it all day on the floor of the Senate, and in the evening, they're going to have a drink together, for crying out loud. They didn't hate each other. They were friends. They just had different political opinions. That's the way the country is supposed to work. Well, let me tell you something. That attitude filtered down. I'm going to give you an example. There's this fellow, Jerry. We ran around together for quite a few years when I was young. As a matter of fact, when I was 19, we ran into the U.S. Air Force together. So we were friends for a long time. Now, in 1952, I was 13, by the way, General Eisenhower was running for president against Adlai Stevenson. Well, Jerry and I walked to and from junior high. We lived next door to each other. Jerry and I walked to and from junior high school every day. And strangely enough, my family were Democrats, his family Republicans. Well, during that election cycle, Jerry and I had debates, and sometimes they were hot and heavy. But, and this is a big one, we attempted to use facts as we understood them. I'm sure we mangled some of the facts, but we tried to use talking points. We didn't call each other names. Well, not during those debates. We didn't get to a fist fight. We conversed. When we got home, we changed clothes and played together. Because I'll tell you something, boy, at 13 or 14, model planes are much more exciting than politics. That's just the way it is. And by the way, my mother and Jerry's mother were good friends. I don't think they ever discussed politics. Okay, now let's jump ahead about I guess it'd be 70 years, wouldn't it? To today, now, right now. Things are different, and they are disturbingly different. Many of the congressional Republicans, especially, are referred to as traitors. Remember, 70 years before, they were referred to as the loyal opposition. Now they're traitors. A Black person who is a Republican is called a traitor. That one I do not understand. You're a political party and you're a traitor to your race. That makes no sense to me at all. Just to sum it all up, I despise the name calling, the insinuations, and all of the deceptive rhetoric. In Congress, Democrats and the Republicans don't even talk to each other. They may scream at each other, but they don't talk. And if you haven't guessed, that attitude has filtered down. Today, I know for a fact, friendships are lost because of politics. And that's a sad note. If you have to agree with someone to be their friend, you could be missing one hell of a lot. You're missing a friend and maybe an opinion that you really should sort of try to understand. Well, I'm not going to lecture on that. Either you do or you don't. You will or you won't. And that's about all I have to say on the subject, except being civil seems to be a lost art. That's all, folks. See you next time.